Hey guys, this is Landros, and I hate this video. I hate this video more than you know, but it's okay. Um, Good news, bad news, whatever. It's all going to be good. Anyway, as you can see, looking at my game, it doesn't look right, does it? No, it doesn't. There's some major issues, guys. I'm talking major. All right. I don't want to have to do this in every single LP, so I don't have to sound like a broken record. So I'm going to do it in this update video one time. Yeah, you know me. I'm going to probably say it every time, but I'm going to try not to. All right, here's what happened, and here's what I think happened. You guys know I started back the game after I saved my game, and I didn't have any mods or anything at all in the game. I was playing just a plain vanilla EA game, and everything was working just fine. What I did, I decided to play in my personal game. I wanted my town to come to life, and I wanted to see what story progression was going to do to the town. So I brought the mods in for my personal game, and when I was playing my LPs for you guys, I would take the mods out and play the game for you guys. Then when I'd play my personal game, I'd bring the mods back in. So it was constantly switching them back and forth, which some of those mods are what they call core mods, which means they go in and they make some changes. I don't think the game likes it when you switch back and forth like that all the time. So, however, you guys saw during my LP, if you were watching, I believe it was my Seasons LP, we were at university and you saw how bad it got. I finally had to stop the LP, put the mods in, and it fixed it. It solved the problem temporarily. Okay, um, and that was fine. Now I've gotten to the point where if I have the mods in my game will load up to this point. I can select a town, and it'll start loading up and get about almost to the end, and then it will freeze, hang up, and the only way for me to get control is, of course, do Control Alt Delete and shut the game down, and it will never open up a town. So the mods won't even play in my game at this point. So I took the mods out completely. Well, then I started playing the game, and you guys saw, I think the last two videos I have uploaded were the Three Little Sims and Midnight Sun. And they were fine. Everything was going okay. There was some hesitation, there was some aggravation here and there, and I've had a little bit, here progressing over a while. But then I went in to do the next one after Midnight Sun, which I believe I was actually trying to go and do Dragon Valley, because I skipped ahead and did my Midnight Sun. I don't know why. Anyway, I did Dragon Valley. Dragon Valley would not even play. Um, when I say wouldn't play, I could actually load it up and I could see my characters and I could tell them to go do things. They wouldn't do anything. Free will was on completely. It was just ridiculous. I could not get them to do anything. It would take them forever. They would sit there and they would watch something. They would just stamp their feet. Time would not move. The clock would not move. And it was the same issue I had before. Then when they finally did move, they'd walk a little ways and they would freeze. It was freeze frame for a while. I could spin around. I could go everywhere else, see other people doing other things. Wouldn't do anything at all. All right. So I knew I had some major issues. I decided, all right, well, it's Dragon Valley. I went into every single one of my games, including Three Little Sims and Midnight Sun that I had just recorded. Same exact thing was going on. In fact, in some cases, it was worse. And as I went into each LP, it would get progressively worse to where finally at the very end, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't actually interact with anybody. So I finally said, okay, enough's enough, and I just shut the game down. I fixed it sort of. And I'm going to tell you guys because I know a lot of you asked me to tell you how did I do it because you're fighting the same battle or you've fought it before and you didn't know how to fix it. I'm going to tell you what has apparently worked for me. If you don't care about this, you can skip out or you can just skip to the end where I tell you what we're going to do. And I'm going to tell you basically what's happening with the LPs and how we're going to move forward. All right, so here's what I did. The first thing I did is I went in, I took my save games, these corrupted save files, because that's what they are. I took every corrupted save file and I just pulled it out of the folder and put it out on the desktop. That way I had a copy of it. And there was no way I was going to bring in any of my older files because I did have backups, but they were from a while back. They weren't recent enough. I was still going to have to do a lot of catch-up playing, but I didn't want to bring those in, especially when the game was all corrupted the way it was. So I got my corrupted save files out on the desktop. Then I went in, I had shut the game down, of course. I went into the Electronics Art folder and I deleted the Sims 3 file. Completely deleted it, gone, the whole bit. I opened up the game again and let it regenerate a brand new copy. Now, of course, this copy didn't have any of my store towns, didn't have any of my content, didn't have any of my saved Sims, none of that. So, and I didn't want any of it. Then I did the painstaking process of downloading each and every item from the Sims 3 store all 19 pages that I have, which is ridiculous. I downloaded each and everything, installed it into the game, opened up the game again and tested it. Made sure I put anything that I had, like any festival lots that were built by the Sim Gurus. I put everything that I needed, all the basics, the essentials. Opened up the game, made sure that all my worlds were in there, all my store content, and everything was working. I played about 7 different towns, about 5 minutes or so in each. Interacted with different characters. I actually, just put in different characters from the bin, the ones that came with the base game. Everything was fine. I was like, okay, this is fine. Everything's working. No big issues. Nothing at all. I didn't save any of them. Next thing I did is I just shut the game down altogether. Okay, so now I have a good, solid, clean, working copy. The next thing I did is I copied that entire Sims 3 folder and I moved a copy out onto the desktop and called it Master Setup. So now I got 2 versions of this game sitting on my computer. But that wasn't enough. So now I made another copy of it and put that other copy out on the desktop, and that's my working folder. And that one, there's a reason why I had to put that there, and it made sense to just go ahead and do it at that time. So now I've got 3 good, solid working content copies of my game with all my downloads, everything that I need, and I'm set to go. Alright, the next thing I did is I pulled in my save files, those corrupted, nasty save files. I pulled them into the folder that was actually active. I opened up the first LP, and this is what I did. I turned my testing cheats on. I turned on Buy Debug. I went right into the inventory. I bought a World Adventures chest for every single family that I went into. Put that chest either in the middle of a room, in the middle of the yard, somewhere where I was going to see it. And I went to each and every character and I cleared out their inventory. I mean, everything that I could pull out, I stuck it in there. I even went into the family inventory and I either sold everything or I stuck it out on the yard. But I cleaned out every single character's inventory completely. There's no gems, there's no flowers, there's nothing in there. I think there's a couple of things where I couldn't actually move it, but I did the best I could. The next thing I did is I clicked on each and every sim in every single LP, from toddler up to elder, didn't matter who they were. I clicked on each one, popped them into Create a Sim, and I made a copy of them to save in Create a Sim. Now that was my ultimate backup plan, that if I couldn't save my Sims, at least I could recreate them, recreate the family lines. They wouldn't have any skills, they wouldn't have any kind of history, they wouldn't have any abilities, but I could at least recreate them the way they exist. So that was kind of like my fail-safe. But I got every single character from every single LP into Create a Sim, so I could actually recreate them as a fresh copy if I had to. Alright, the next thing I did as I was in each LP is I evicted the current household and I moved that family out onto the clipboard without their house. And the first thing I did then is I saved them, and I saved them to my library. Then I went over and I saved their house as an empty house, and I saved it to the library, so I have 2 different saves of it. I closed out the game. I tried in the very beginning saving after I'd actually emptied out their inventory. The one game took me 12 minutes to save, the other one took 9.5, and I thought, I can't do this. This is too much. That was another thing. My game saves were just getting extremely, extremely long. So I thought, all right, to heck with this. I'm not even going to bother with saving it. I'm just going to get these people out and do that. By the time I got to the last LP, and I was trying to get the last group out, this game was fighting me so bad. The characters would not do anything. They wouldn't flip out of their work clothes. It was like pulling teeth. It was awful. Now, there are 3 casualties in this whole process, and I'm going to talk about those casualties at the end, and I'm upset, but it's not that bad. We can get around 2 of them. Alright, so anyway, I got all my people out. I got them in there. Then the next thing I did is I shut the game down. I went into that bad, corrupted game that is now considered the active game. I pulled out 2 files. I pulled out the library files, and I pulled out the save sim files, and I moved those to the desktop. Because those were okay, I was hoping, I think they are. I pulled those out, stuck them on the desktop. Then I deleted that active folder, completely just deleted it, gutted it. That working copy that I had made that was sitting over there on the bin of the Sims 3 game, I now pulled that one into the game. Sorry, my cat's upset. I pulled that one now into my game, and sorry, you okay? Come here. All right. Anyway, then I pulled my library files and my save sim files into that version of the game. I actually made copies of them. I didn't pull the originals. I just made a copy of those. So on my desktop, I got a whole bunch of stuff that's just sitting there, and I now have it all in a flash drive. So I've got it in multiple places. Anyway, I pulled them into the active game now. I opened up the game. The game plays beautifully. I played in a couple of towns, did the same thing. Everything was fine. I took a couple of those people, those families that I had actually saved and put them in, popped them into different towns, played around with them for a little while. Plays beautifully, no big deal. I went to multiple towns, didn't have any issues. So I saved my people. I saved them with their skills, their abilities, everything that they needed. They're fine. So that's how I actually saved my game. It's a long process. It took me forever, and I'm finally at that point that I got it. Oh, one other thing I did take, any venues that I created, like some of my Midnight Hollow things, while I was in there, I grabbed them. It took forever. The game fought me on trying to do anything, but I grabbed it. And a couple of good things happened because I found one of my old University Life LP, I think was the one I pulled. I had pulled it in just by accident. And I actually grabbed two lots that I thought I had lost for good. One was my Regency Arcade, and the other one was my Ice Lounge, which I had converted into like a bowling alley and whatnot. So I got those back. I was so happy about that. So that was kind of like the silver lining of this whole thing, but not enough to make it all great. But anyway, long story short, I've saved everybody. We're able to actually now, I've got to set up my towns. And you can see I've been doing that right now. I've been going in and I've set up all my towns for all my different LPs. I don't have everybody in, but I've got most of them in. And I'm about to go in and now put the families in, put their houses in. They'll have all their same stuff. They'll have all their same possessions. They'll live in their same homes. They'll have everything that they had as far as their abilities and whatnot. They just won't have ties to the families, to the neighborhood. So that's the only thing that's different. Some of these characters, it's going to be more of an impact than others. We'll get around it. If I have to just say, okay, I'm not going to worry about the challenge rules for that one, fine, I'll do it. As I said earlier, there were 3 casualties. Okay, the first casualty was kind of minor, but then again, it was something I was looking forward to. In the 7 Deadly Sims, my sim was pregnant. It was a male. He was pregnant with an alien baby. He's no longer pregnant because once I popped him out, he lost that moodlet, which means he lost the alien child. So we will not be having an alien kid in the 7 Deadly Sims. It angers me because I really wanted one. After I thought about it, I was like, oh, that's looking like a lot of fun to play. No, it's not going to happen. Maybe he'll get abducted again. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Okay, the other 2, Dragon Valley, gone. I could not pull Harrison out for anything. I couldn't interact with him. I couldn't click on him. It was as if he didn't even exist. I could click all around it. Couldn't get anything to happen. But the fortunate thing is I already had Harrison Archer. That's my character. I already had him on a saved file from when I originally created him. So I could I popped him back in. I've got him now in Creative Sim. I can recreate him. And what I'm planning to do with that one is I'm planning to play that off camera, go through the adventures he went through, and try to get him up more or less where he is at this point, where he was in the LP, and then move forward. So you guys really won't miss a beat for those of you who follow that one. I'm just going to play what we've already done off camera, and then we'll catch back up, and I'll continue without missing a beat. Little things might be different, little slight variations on skills he has, but for the most part, no big deal. The other major one, which was the same thing, was my 7 Immortal Idiots. I could not click on Sella for anything. She wouldn't actually interact. She wasn't even in the house. I had to do a reset sim, and I finally got her to pop over onto the lot, but she never had the plumb bob ahead of her, plumb bob, whatever. She didn't have that on top of her. She didn't have anything that I could work with. I would click over here, it wouldn't switch over to her. I could do her husband, I could do her daughter, nothing else. So my dilemma is, do I scrap that series altogether, or do I reboot it, start it from square one, or do I do the same thing that I'm doing with Dragon Valley and play it off camera and bring him up to speed? The problem with that one is that whole LP is you have to follow the wishes of Sella. So I have to do exactly what she wants. There's no way I can direct her to do exactly what we did before because she may not roll those same wishes. So I'm kind of at a toss-up as to, do I just reboot and start over? Do I scrap it? Or what do I do? I don't really have an answer for that yet, but I can't continue on with her as she was. And if that's the case, do I keep her in Bridgeport? Do I move her somewhere else? What do I do? So you guys can kind of give me some feedback on that one for those of you who followed that LP. Do you want it continued? Do you want it continued and rebooted from episode 1 and I just continue on? Or do you want me to just play it however it needs to play and then I will catch back up at about the same time frame, which she'd only gotten into, I think, one, maybe 2 seasons. That was about it. It wasn't very long. So I don't know. I just kind of will give you guys a chance to respond, tell me what you think, and if there's no interest, then I won't even bother. If there is interest, then tell me what you want. So anyway, like I said, for the most part, you guys aren't going to see any big difference except new towns. Just fresh versions of the towns, and we'll just continue on from there. Give me some time. I've got to get some of these towns set up, and I got to get things started. It's been a nightmare. It has been frustrating, but I'm going to tell you right now, I think it was my fault. I don't think the mods caused all the issues. I think it was my usage of the mods that caused the issues. I think when you take mods in, you take mods out, and you take save games in and out, you corrupt your game, and that's what I did. So I'm not going to be placing any mods in my game. When they break or whatever happens, we're just going to move the family into a new save file and just continue from there, because otherwise it's just not worth it. So anyway, wanted to give you an update so you aren't just completely shocked and I don't have to go through this in every single video that I'm going to be recording this week, and that way you guys will kind of understand what's going on. Plus, I know a lot of you like to know, hey, how did you fix the problem, because you want to deal with the same thing. Had these been my personal games, I would have just scrapped it and said, you know what, I'm done, I'll start something new. But because these are LPs, that wasn't really an option, so I have to go ahead and get them back up to speed. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hate it. I feel like I'm always having to explain why I've had to do something because my game breaks, and I feel like a broken record. It's okay. We're going to get through it. Hopefully you can tell I sound a lot better. I feel a lot better. Not 100%, but I'm pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to get started on doing some recording. It may take me a day or two to get everything back up to speed. Hopefully it won't take as long as I'm expecting, and I can get some things going. For those following Dragon Valley, understand it's going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to have to play up to the point where we were. So I'll try to get that one going as quick as I can. For the rest, like I said, nothing else really is changing. The major change would be, of course, with 7 Immortal Idiots. You let me know what you want. If you want me to just scrap it, I don't mind. If you want me to reboot it from episode 1, I don't mind. I am planning a Roaring Heights video, which will be coming out hopefully by the end of the week. So there's a lot of things going on the channel. I just want to make sure that you guys are kept up to speed. You know what I'm doing, and you know why things might look or feel a little bit different when we get back. All right, guys. Enough of me rambling. Thank you for paying attention, listening, and rolling your eyes and whatever. Please don't hit that dislike button. You can't dislike a problem that I'm trying to solve. Maybe you can. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I appreciate your support, and I really look forward to reading your comments about what you want me to do about that other video or that LP. And I think there's nothing else for me to say. All right, guys, I'm going to go eat, and then I'm going to get down to finishing up these last few towns and try to get something started. Probably won't record tonight. I'll try to record first thing tomorrow. See you guys in the next LP. Thank you again for watching. I will see you soon.